You're listening to the audio production of Getting Through What You're Going Through, Notes and Poems for Hoping and Becoming by Tanner Olson, published by Zondervan and read by the author. For those searching for a spark of hope, for those courageously taking the next step, for those who need to remember that life is still worth living, for those holding on to the promise that good is on the way, for those who just need a moment to be still and breathe. This is for you. Introduction. It was the first week of January, and I once again believed this was the year I was going to be in the best shape of my life. I started running, stretching, and working out. I even did some sit-ups. New year, new me, right? Not for long. Only 7 days into the new year, I woke up at 2 a.m. in horrific pain. My lower back, abdomen, and hips were throbbing. The pain was unbearable. I wanted to throw up and cry and pass out. Not to brag, but I didn't. I typed my symptoms into Google, thinking it was a muscle strain or back spasm. But according to the World Wide Web, I was either on my period or pregnant. No matter what I did, the discomfort remained. I couldn't sleep or get comfortable. Ibuprofen didn't relieve the pain. The heating pad didn't change how I felt. Ice didn't work. My wife, Sarah, finally suggested we go to the ER, where after a CT scan and some blood work, the doctor pulled me into a small room and cleared his throat. "Well, it looks like you've got an ulcer, Mr. Olson." "Does this require surgery?" I asked. "No, but it does require some lifestyle changes." Even worse, I thought. "What do you do for a living?" he asked. "I'm a writer." "Are you stressed out?" "Yes." "Do you drink a lot of coffee?" "Yes." "Do you have a hard time slowing down?" "Yes." I was beginning to wonder if the doctor knew anything about being a writer. The truth is, before this hospital visit, I thought I was doing just fine. My wife had been teaching me how to rest, and every week for a year I had taken a day and a half, sometimes two, off from work. But it turns out resting does not always mean less stress. Stress is complicated. It sneaks through the front door, bringing its friends insecurity and worry. They wrap their greasy little hands around my shoulders and get me to believe I must do it all. And if I don't do it all, nothing will get done. And I will no longer be a full-time writer and will become a forgotten failure. And the last thing I want to become is a forgotten failure. As it turns out, that is one easy way to get an ulcer. That's how, in the cold of the emergency room on a Monday night, after answering a doctor's questions, I realized it was time for a change. So, that's what I'm doing. I'm paying attention to what I put into my body and how it affects me. Things like coffee and media and food. I'm prioritizing what needs to be prioritized. I'm creating healthy boundaries and sticking with them. I'm admitting weaknesses and reminding myself that God knows what I need. I'm saying yes to slowing down and no to the things I cannot control. I'm telling myself it isn't on your mark, get set, go. It's on your mark, get set, slow. Most importantly, I'm learning to trust God. My ulcer was a symptom of stress, and my stress was a symptom of pride. When the world was on my shoulders, I would forget that the love of Christ is certain and strong. I would claw and scramble and spin the tires and overthink and say yes to something I should say no to and slam another cup of coffee and keep going. Maybe you're in a similar place. You know you need to make changes. You know the way things are now aren't the way they should be. Remind yourself to slow down, breathe deep, and remember, God is faithful. Tell yourself it's okay to rest and make changes and start again. Hold on to the truth that hope is not distant. Hope is here, guiding you as you learn to breathe again, be again, and live again. Learn to breathe again. Learn to be again. Learn to live again. Part 1. Getting Through and Going Through. Don't skip to the end.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?